Welcome to Her Subconscious Blueprint, your no BS space for subconscious healing, bold breakthroughs, and manifestations. I'm Jen Boyd, hypnotherapist, mindset coach, and your new healing hype girl. Have you ever wondered why your mind works the way it does? Why you can swear you're ready for change, but somehow you slip back into the same patterns, the same habits, the same way of thinking that you swore you'd never go back to. You start a new routine, you're pumped about it for about a week, maybe two, and then suddenly you're right back to where you started. And it leaves you asking yourself, what is wrong with me? Why can't I commit? Why can't I just stick to it? Well, let me stop you right there. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not lazy. You're not weak. You're not broken. You are human. And humans have a subconscious mind that plays by a set of rules. And once you know these rules, once you understand the game that your subconscious is playing, you can finally stop fighting yourself and start working with yourself. So today we're diving into the rules of the mind. There are 11 hidden principles that explain exactly why you keep doing what you do, and more importantly, how you can finally rewire your reality. Because here's the truth. When you understand these rules, you stop blaming yourself and you start realizing, oh, my mind has just been following its programming. Now, because there are 11 of these rules, and each one of them is so powerful on its own, I'm going to break this into two separate episodes so you don't get overwhelmed. Today, we're going to cover the first 6 rules, and next week, we'll dive into the rest. By the time we're done, you'll see your habits, your patterns, and even your self-talk through a completely different lens. So let's dive in. Rule number 1, the mind learns by repetition. Think about this. How many times did you have to tie your shoe before you could do it without even thinking about it? How many times did you drive the same route before your body could get you home on autopilot while your mind was somewhere else? That is how the mind learns, by repetition. It's like carving grooves in a record. The more often you repeat something, the deeper the groove becomes. And eventually, it plays automatically. Maybe growing up, you heard the same words over and over and over again in your house. Maybe you heard that money doesn't grow on trees. You better be careful. Don't waste that. You should be grateful because other people have it worse. And guess what happens? These words, repeated enough times, they didn't just become phrases. They became grooves in your mind. They became beliefs. And those beliefs shaped how you treat money, how you view abundance, even how you feel about yourself and in your relationships. This is why you can know logically that you want to save more money, or you want to work out more, or you want to stop doubting yourself. But until you repeat it enough times for it to become a groove, your subconscious will default back to the old track. Here's the solution. If you want to change, stop expecting one giant breakthrough to fix everything. Real change isn't about doing it once perfectly. It's about doing it often enough that your subconscious says, this is the new normal. You train your mind the same way you train a muscle or even a dog, with repetition. That's why affirmations, journaling, visualization, and especially hypnosis are so powerful. They work because they give your subconscious the repetition it craves. So, if you've been frustrated with yourself for falling off the wagon, let me remind you, nothing's wrong with you. You're just learning how to carve a new groove, and grooves take time. All right, let's dive into rule number 2. The mind cannot hold conflicting ideas. Now, what does that mean? Now, this one is huge. Your mind is a one-track system. We've all heard the saying one-track mind. Well, That couldn't be farther from the truth. It cannot hold two conflicting beliefs at the same time. If you tell yourself, I'm confident, but deep down, you're also thinking, I'm not good enough, those thoughts will clash. It's like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. You're not going to go anywhere. I saw this play out in my own life when I first started coaching. On the outside, I was telling myself, I'm ready to help people. I know I can do this. But inside, I was secretly thinking, who am I to help anybody? I don't have it all together. I'm not qualified enough. I'm not enough. And guess what? The inner conflict kept me stuck. I'd procrastinate, I'd overthink, I'd second guess myself because my subconscious didn't have a clear signal. Here's the thing. Your subconscious will always take the stronger belief and run with it. So if self-doubt has been rehearsed longer than confidence, it's going to win every time. Until you make the empowering belief stronger. The solution? Clarity. You can't water roses and weeds in the same pot and expect only roses to grow. You have to choose the belief that you're going to feed and water. That's why I always say, eliminate the self-doubting thoughts. Don't entertain them. Don't give them space. Pick your empowering belief and then feed it through repetition until it becomes the only track your mind knows how to play. Because here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your beliefs. And if your beliefs are fighting each other, you'll always stay stuck in resistance. All right, rule number 3, whatever we focus on, we move towards. Have you ever noticed that when you're learning to drive, they tell you, don't stare at the trees on the side of the road? Why? Because wherever your eyes go, your body follows. If you lock eyes on the tree, you're more likely to hit it. But if you focus on the open road, your car naturally drifts in that direction. That's how the mind works. Whatever you focus on, you move towards. The subconscious doesn't care whether you're focused on what you want or what you don't want. It just hears the pictures you're painting and the emotions attached to it. When you say, I don't want to fail, your mind still pictures failure. When you say, I don't want to be broke, your subconscious still sees broke. Just like I talked about in my previous episodes. The energy goes where the attention flows. I saw this firsthand when I was building out my business. There was a season where every time I thought about signing up a new client, my focus went straight to fear. What if they say no? What if I mess up on the call? What if I'm not good enough? And they see right through me. And guess what happened? I kept attracting hesitation, cancellations, and people who weren't ready to commit. My focus was on failure. And failure is what I got. But the moment I shifted my focus, everything changed. Instead of obsessing over what could go wrong, I started affirming that I am in line with the perfect people and the right people are finding me at the right time. That I'm ready and capable of serving powerfully. And I visualized the transformation they'd have, the relief in their voices, the breakthroughs, the gratitude. And my reality shifted to match my new focus. Here's the solution. Stop rehearsing what you don't want. Your brain isn't a trash can. Stop throwing garbage in it. Instead, redirect your focus to what you do want. If you want healthy, focus on picturing yourself strong, vibrant, and energized. If you want success, focus on yourself thriving, not failing. If you want love, focus on being open to receiving, not being afraid of rejection. One of my favorite phrases that I use whenever I'm facing something new is, whenever I'm facing something new, I always do my best. That's it. That's the focus, not, I hope I don't fail, not, I hope I don't embarrass myself, just, I always do my best. And my subconscious takes that as instruction. Rule number 4 is, what is expected tends to be realized. Okay, Let me tell you a quick story. For the longest time, I carried this expectation that I wasn't one of those lucky people. You know, the ones where opportunities just seem to fall into their lap, where life just flows with ease, where things look easy. They get the dream job. Everything always works out for them. Well, that wasn't me, I told myself. I always have to work harder than everyone else. Nothing ever comes easy for me. And guess what? My subconscious went to work proving me right. I found myself grinding, overextending, saying yes to the things that drained me because deep down I believed struggle was my normal. But here's what I realized. That wasn't the truth. It was just an expectation I had been rehearsing for years. The moment I began shifting that belief, the moment I started saying to myself, I'm supported, life can be easy for me, things are always working out for me in my favor, my subconscious started looking for evidence of that instead. And suddenly I noticed people showing up to help me. Opportunities were aligning. Things that used to feel impossible started coming together with more ease and confidence. That's the power of expectation. If you believe life is always going to be hard, your mind will collect proof to back you up. But if you start expecting things to work out for you, your subconscious will also find ways to make that true. That is the power of expectation. Whatever you expect, your subconscious finds proof for it. If you expect people to let you down, you'll notice every little thing that feels like disappointment. If you expect success, you'll find opportunities that lead you to it. If you expect to fail, your subconscious will self-sabotage you so that your expectation is right. Your brain is wired to prove itself correct. It hates being wrong. So when you expect something, your subconscious scans for evidence that matches that expectation. Here's the solution. Set your expectations higher. Expect success. Expect abundance. Expect things to work out in your favor. And then watch as your subconscious brings you the evidence to confirm those expectations. The next time you catch yourself saying things like, I'm just like my mom, or I'm just like my dad, or things like, I always screw this up, or things just never work out for me, stop and flip it. Instead, say, I'm creating my own story. Things always work out for me. I'm the kind of person who attracts success. And let your subconscious prove you right. Rule number 5 is imagination is more powerful than knowledge. I want you to pause for a second and imagine biting into a big, juicy lemon. Close your eyes and picture it. Unless you're driving, please don't do that. But just picture it. The bright yellow skin, the sharp citrus smell. As you cut into it, the sour juice dripping down. As you take that first bite, did you feel your mouth water? Did you feel that tingle in your jaw? That is the power of imagination. Your body responds as if it were real, even though it was just a picture in your mind. Knowledge is logic, but imagination is emotion. And your subconscious responds far more to emotion than logic. That's why affirmations only work because they work best when you imagine them, not just repeating them. It's why athletes visualize themselves winning the game before they step onto the field, because your mind doesn't know the difference between what's imagined and what's real. One of the best examples of this comes from the world of sports. There's so many stories of athletes who use visualization to take their game to the next level. Let's take Michael Phelps, for instance. Before he ever got into the pool, he would sit quietly and mentally rehearse every single detail of his race, from the moment he stepped onto the block to the exact strokes he'd take, even down to the feel of the water and the sound of the crowd. He would play the entire race out in his imagination, including what he would do if something went wrong, like if his goggles filled up with water. So when that exact thing did actually happen in the Olympics, he didn't panic. His subconscious had already rehearsed it. He kept going, he stayed calm, and he still won gold. That's the power of imagination. And it's not just athletes. There was this fascinating study where researchers divided up participants into 3 groups. One group went to the gym and lifted weights. Another group didn't touch a single dumbbell. They only imagined themselves working out, picturing the muscles contracting and the barbells moving. The third group did nothing. At the end of the study, both the gym group and the visualization group had gained muscle strength, while the people who physically worked out did gain the most. The group who had only imagined it, they still gained almost the same amount of strength than the first group. Their minds convinced their bodies to respond, even without the weights. That's how powerful imagination is. Your subconscious doesn't care whether it's happening in real or in your mind. It just takes the images you feed it, and it begins to align your body with the emotions and your actions with them. Here's the solution. Use your imagination to rehearse the future you want. Don't just say, I want abundance. Imagine yourself checking your account and seeing the exact number you desire. Don't just say, I want love. Imagine yourself being held, cherished, adored, taken care of. Don't just say, I want health. Imagine yourself running, laughing, feeling light and free in your body. Imagine the outfits you would wear. The more vividly you imagine, the more your subconscious accepts it as reality. And once your subconscious believes it, it works to make it true. Rule number 6. In a battle between emotion and logic, emotion always wins. You ever known something logically, but felt completely different emotionally? Maybe you knew logically that a relationship was bad for you, but emotionally you couldn't let go. Or you knew logically that a new opportunity was exciting, but emotionally you felt fear and held back. That's because in a battle between logic and emotion, emotion always wins every single time. The subconscious mind is wired to follow feelings, not facts. And if your feelings say this is unsafe, even if logically it's fine, your subconscious will stop you dead in your tracks. This is why affirmations without emotions often do not work. If you say, I'm confident in just a flat tone with no feeling, your subconscious doesn't buy it. But if you say it with conviction, if you let yourself feel what confidence would actually feel like or look like in your body, then your subconscious takes it more serious. And this is exactly why diets so often do not work. Because diets are built on logic. Eat less, move more, follow the rules, have discipline. But logic doesn't run the show. Emotion does. You might know logically that the chocolate bar isn't good for you, but if deep down that chocolate bar made you feel comforted or safe or loved, emotion will win every single time. Maybe when you were a kid, your mom gave you a piece of chocolate as a treat after a hard day, and it made you feel special. Maybe your dad took you out for ice cream when you got to see him on the weekends, so sugar became a symbol of celebration. Maybe candy was how your grandma showed love, sneaking you sweet treats when no one else was looking. So now as an adult, you're not just craving the chocolate bar, you're craving the feeling it gave you. The love, the comfort, the reward, and the connection. That's why you can't just logic your way out of the cravings or the behavior. Logic says, I shouldn't eat this, but emotion says, but I want to feel love, and this reminds me of love. And emotion will always win. Here's the shift. Instead of trying to fight the emotion with logic, Start giving yourself the feeling that you are really after in a healthier way. If chocolate meant love, how can you show yourself love right now? If it meant celebration, how can you celebrate yourself without food? When you connect emotionally to your goals, you stop fighting yourself and you start rewiring the subconscious to believe, I can feel love and cared for without needing the chocolate bar. Because when you attach positive emotion to your desire, you make them magnetic to your subconscious. So let's pause here and recap what we've gone through so far, because these first 6 rules alone can completely shift the way you look at yourself and your patterns. Rule number 1 was the mind learns by repetition. Nothing is wrong with you if you fall back into old habits. It just means the groove of that habit is still stronger. The solution is to keep practicing the new belief until it feels automatic. Rule number 2 was the mind cannot hold conflicting ideas. You cannot run on confidence and self-doubt at the same time. One has to win. That's why clarity matters. You have to choose which belief you're going to feed. Rule number 3 was whatever we focus on, we move towards. Energy follows attention. If you focus on the failure, you move towards it. If you focus on thriving, your subconscious moves you in that direction instead. Rule number 4 reminds us that what is expected tends to be realized. Your brain wants to prove itself right. If you expect struggle, you'll find it. If you expect ease, then your subconscious will find ways to deliver that too. Rule number 5 is one of my very favorites. Imagination is more powerful than knowledge. You can know something logically, but your imagination is what wires your subconscious. That's why athletes, performers, even business leaders rehearse their success in their minds first. Because your subconscious can't tell the difference between what's imagined and what's real. And then rule number 6. In a battle between logic and emotion, emotion always wins. This is exactly why diets and just thinking positive often fail. You can know all the facts, but until you address the emotional meaning behind your behaviors, like why you reach for the chocolate bar when you feel lonely or stressed, your subconscious will keep choosing the emotion over the logic. Once you uncover the emotion underneath, you finally free yourself to choose differently. These 6 rules are powerful because they explain why you do what you do. But even more importantly, they show you that you're not broken, you're not weak, and you're not undisciplined. You're simply running on the programming that your subconscious was given. And the good news is, programming can be rewritten. So here's where we'll stop for today because I don't want to overload you. Next week is part 2. We're going to dive into the rest of the rules of the mind. Things like why your words are spells that shape your reality, why your subconscious will always push you towards pleasure and away from pain, why it doesn't even care if something is true or false, and why it clings to familiarity even when it hurts you. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. I am so full of love and gratitude that I get to share this with you. This is Her Subconscious Blueprint, where we don't just chase the dreams, we become them. And remember, you don't get what you want, you get who you are. So go out and be that version of her today. Much love and gratitude. I will see you next time.